Hello world. Thanks for listening. This is a music and math podcast. I'm Kengo Ichiki. I'm talking to you from Kanazawa, Japan. And actually, this episode is the last episode for this year, 2023, this season 2. Episode number is 52. You know, 1 year has 52 weeks. And that means that this year I am releasing episode once a week. So I completed the perfect, weeks, 52 in a row. So yeah, I'm so happy with this. And as you know, in this month, December, I am wrapping up this year in each category of this podcast program. We have 4 categories: music, talk, piano, and English. Those 4 categories are in cycle this year. At the very beginning of this year, season 2, I guess, before we have 5 categories. That means that for music episode, we have 2 types. But at the very beginning of this year, I think, I stopped making the one type of music that is using, what is the name? I'm using Anchor, former Anchor. Right now, it's Spotify for podcaster. That's the service name, right? I guess. And the Anchor, one of the key feature of this Anchor, among other podcast services, is music plus talk we can make and release, where we can use the music, commercial music provided by Spotify streaming service, including major music. So we, individual podcaster, can create the radio show type music program on podcast framework. That was very attractive at the very beginning of this podcast when I started. And I am making that type of episode as well as normal talk-only episode. But at some point at the beginning of this year, I stopped making this kind of duplicate. And actually, the number of listeners are not much, or I would say none of the people listen to this Music Plus Talk episode somehow. So I think I don't need to make such, effort. So I quit. So now, this year, we have 4 categories of episodes. And every week I make one of them. So the cycle is roughly matched to a month. And as I said, I completed perfect weeks 52. And this episode 52 marks the final episode of this year, season 2. And in that cycle, this last episode is English episode. So that's why I'm talking in English rather than Japanese. Yes, and of course, this is December and the very final one. I will wrapping up this year in English. So mainly focusing on the English episode of season 2. I made a list of episodes. Let's recap. English. Yes, I counted, and the number of English episodes in season 2 is 12, excluding this today's episode. So that in total, season 2, we have 13 English episodes. Yeah, I will call the title of those episodes from the beginning, January to December. So in January, episode number 3, the title is My 2023 New Year's Resolution and the Future with AI. Episode 8, February 24th, Coffee and Yeast and Paper Book. Episode 12, March 24th, a week of mid-March 2023. We are talking about the AI stuff, I think, there. Episode 16, April 21st, Anniversary and Ryuichi Sakamoto and Voice Changing. So this anniversary is the 1 year anniversary of this Music and Math podcast. It started April 2022. So this 16th episode is 1 year anniversary. Episode 20, May 19th, Past, Present, and Future, where I'm talking about my career. I lost my job at the end of May. Yeah, we're talking about that. Episode 24, June 16th, Wilderness and Reinforcement Learning and Rainy Season. Episode 28, July 15th, Twitch and Job Search and Excuse. I forgot the details. We'll see later. Episode 32, August 11th, Video Interviews and Exploring Repertoire and Hot Summer. Okay, this summer it's hot. I remember that. Now it's cold. It's in winter. And I totally forgot about the summer. But yeah, this summer it's hot. Episode 36, September 8th, Living is Learning. Yeah, living is learning. Around that time, I had a hard time for job searching. Yeah, okay, so episode 40, October 6th. The title is September and Turning Point and Living is Making. Yeah, still, I'm in the dark time. Episode 44, November 3rd. The title is just November. And episode 48, December 1st. And the title is just December. The title I put those episodes are like afterward. Usually I start talking without preparation at all. Today is like that too. So I have no idea what I'm going to talk. And after finish recording, and I need to edit. After editing, and I put the title as a summary of the talk. That's the thing. So let's recap the episode briefly because today this is an English episode, but we have another talk type episode. I just call it talk episode. It is in Japanese, but just talking. So basically the content is very similar. Yeah, actually episode 50, I talk a recap of this season 2 episodes in Japanese, focusing on the Japanese talk episodes, but the same year, same person. But sometimes I put a different topic only in English or only in Japanese. So it's worth looking back, I think. So episode third of this season 2. That was January 20th. There, the title is My 2023 New Year's Resolution and Future with AI. Yeah, the reason I'm talking New Year's resolution is, as I mentioned, I guess, in this episode, that I'm organizing a circle with friends for English conversation. And in that group, we gathered and talk in English every month. And in each year, at the very first meeting, these days we're meeting online, Zoom. Before that, we were meeting on some office space, but after COVID, we are meeting online. The very first meeting each year, we have a special session. Everybody has speech talking about each person's New Year's resolution for that year. And as I mentioned that this English episode 3, was released on January 20th, right? So this is after the English Circle meeting where I am talking about my New Year's resolution this year. So yeah, I talk about that here in this podcast. I'm looking at the transcription made by AI program called Whisper. I put it on this podcast WordPress page. The episode 8 is Coffee and Yeast and Paper Book. I kind of put 3 words on the title because I usually talk many topics in one episode. That's why I picked 3 themes and put it on the title. And this episode 8, I picked 3 keywords: coffee, yeast, and paper book. What was coffee? Yeah, coffee. This is a planting project I talked there. There's a $1 shop, and I saw on a website that internet that in a $1 shop there is coffee tree for the plant, not for the coffee, but leaves for the interior green stuff. And of course, it's in $1 shop, so it's $1, right? For the tree, small tree, I think. And I'm wondering, I'm planting fruits as a hobby. I talked this topic before that. I plant the apple seed and the strawberry seeds, and it's growing. And this year I harvested strawberries a little bit. This is the 3rd year of those strawberries and apple. And I don't know how many years we need to get apple, but we have strawberries this year. A little bit. We need maybe good fertilizers to get a lot of strawberries, but yeah, I didn't put it. Let's see. So yeah, in that line, I'm wondering, can we make coffee in my garden? Oh, by the way, apple and strawberries are first try, and after that, that was this year, I guess, in summer, I put pineapple. We got pineapple as a whole pineapple, and we cut on the leaves, and we just put it that leaf part in the soil, and it's rooting and it's growing. Yeah. Now it's winter. We put it inside the house because pineapple is in a southern plant, right? Anyway, and coffee. I love coffee. I drink coffee daily, regularly. And coffee beans, these days especially, getting expensive little by little, I think. And I'm wondering if I can grow coffee by myself. I don't need to buy. Of course, for that, I need a plenty of coffee trees, I guess. But anyway, in a concept, planting a coffee is an interesting project. But after that, I try to look for that, coffee tree in a dollar shop. But there is no coffee tree in a shop, unfortunately. So I'm still looking for a coffee tree, but I didn't. Anyway. Let's move on. I talk too much for each episode. I think this is just a recap sessions, right? Let's see. Okay, so the episode 12, a week of mid-March 2023. A week of mid-March, what happened is I seriously start worrying about the AI crisis. I think the trigger was the Eligius YouTube video, I guess. That was the trigger, and after that, I look into the information. That was March. Okay, I think it's in March this year. I think my feeling is like that was 1 year or more before, but it's in March this year. The speed of time these days are crazy regarding AI progress I'm talking about. Episode 16, the title is Anniversary and Ryuichi Sakamoto and Voice Changing. Yeah, this is April. Yeah, So as I mentioned that this music and math podcast I started April 2022, and this is purely personal, purely hobby oriented podcast. That's why I put the music and math in title. And also, yeah, I mentioned Ryuichi Sakamoto. He One of the big news of this year is his passing. He had a cancer. He's sad, so everybody knew that. But that was April. We heard. Yeah, in this podcast, I mentioned that I made a book. It was published at the end of May, and this book essay. It is based on my this podcast program transcription, and that book essay book was dedicated to him, his memory, especially his radio program many years ago. When I was a kid, I listened to his radio program when I was a teenager, and that's a very influential radio program. I think many people are like me. I believe that was the topic of this episode. Move on. Okay. Another big news in this year, personal news, was I lost my job, right? And that happened actually at the end of April. And in this episode, episode 20, released on May 19, I talk about that mainly. So job situation. I lost my job, so that I need to find a new job. So what do I want? What kind of job I want? And so to figure out, I am looking back my career and my interest and my passion, that kind of thing. So that's why I put the title Past, Present, and Future. So this is the beginning of my job search, and you will see. Today is December 26th, and I will talk later, but I got a new job. I start working January next year in a 10 days or so, right? It's so quick. But anyway, so this job search story, has a happy ending. and But around this time, May, I have no idea what will happen. Okay, episode 24, Wilderness and Reinforcement Learning and Rainy Season. There, I am. So, what is this wilderness? That is, I start a walking around in the daytime because I lost my job. So, I have time in daytime, walking time. People are walking at office, sitting in front of desk and, doing that. At that time, I have nothing to do, so I start walking around neighborhood. I'm living in Kanazawa. Kanazawa is a very good place. It's close to the nature, mountains and rivers. And around that time, June, July, this summer, every day I walk like 1 hour or 2 hours on foot, of course, walking around. And we can reach to the mountain. And I'm wandering in a mountain in a wilderness, and a few times I met wild animals. That is Japanese Nihon kamoshika. What is English name? I forgot. Antelope. Japanese antelope, I think. Yeah, I met a couple of times. At the very beginning, I was so scared because there is a sign that be careful about bears, and it's summertime. And fortunately, I didn't met bears. But in autumn and winter here in Kanazawa, as well as other towns in Japan this year especially, we have news a lot. Bear is coming into town and hurt someone, something like that. Be careful. That is a episode 24, June. Episode 28, Twitch and job search and excuse. This is released on July 15th. Okay, yeah. So I talk about the job search situation. It's not going well around that time or almost the entire time. One of the thing I decided, I made the rule before start doing this job search this time. I don't compromise my goal setting. Sometimes we need a job to live, to eat food, right? So that is a kind of high priority stuff. So sometimes, most of the times, people compromise about the job. If you got hired, and if you don't want what you're gonna do, you may take that, right, to live. At the beginning of this job search session this year, I decided I won't compromise that part as much as possible, of course. And that is, I want a job that I love, and that is a job related to the AI development in a fundamental point of view. And it's not that easy stuff. And of course, if I couldn't find such a job, I will start. I would be a freelancer. I was ready for that at the very end of this job search period. Yeah. And in this episode, I think I'm talking about such difficulties, I think. Anyway, this is episode 28, July, summer. 28, okay, so episode 32, this is August 11th. Video interviews and exploring repertoire and hot summer. There, I got a few job interviews around that time, and one of them, they asked me to do a video interview, and I talk about that too. Unfortunately, that job is not going well. Yeah, that is okay for my goal setting for job search, and yeah, I want to get the time, but anyway, let's move on. That was episode 32. Okay, episode 36, September. Living is learning. There, yeah, I'm struggling. September, right? September. Yeah, during this job search stuff, some of my friends give me some opportunity. I was a researcher, physicist before, like, yeah, I quit 14 years ago, then become a programmer at the time. But before that, I was a researcher in physics, and my friends, researcher, professors, yeah, it's my age, 55, and of course, my friends are like that. And if you were in academia and that age, yeah, most people are like professors at the universities, right? But yeah, so some of those friends contact me, and I was invited to the seminar as a listener audience, and that was a very, say, interesting experience, reviving the feeling of how research activities are going, and very stimulating. And a weeks later, one of my mentor when I was a grad student, world-renowned professor at the time already, he's still active nowadays. That was amazing, by the way. He visited somehow here in Kanazawa at that time, and we talked privately, and we talked a lot, talking about the old stuff and the histories, and that was very stimulating too, yeah, inspiring. And he is 20 older than me, exactly. So I am 55 now. He is 75. But still, that was amazing that his behavior, his being is, from my point of view, exactly the same when I met him first. That was 30 years ago, right? When I was 20, mid 20s, right? Grad student, master student. He was like that. It's amazing, right? I was so encouraged. Yeah, it's a big impact on me at this time. Job search is not going well, and as a backup plan, I need some idea plans for becoming a freelancer or start my own business kind of thing. Yeah, this is around that time. Episode 40 was in October this year, and the title is September and Turning Point and Living is Making. Yeah, turning point is that. I've been looking for a job, but it's not going well. So the turning point means that I need a backup plan. And yeah, I'm talking about that. One idea of those backup plan was start a publishing business. And as you know, I am writing and publishing self-publishing books these years, and I think especially in this country, Japan, the publishing business is very unique. I think in a way it is protected. The publishers are protected for the I guess free speech kind of thing or the cultural stuff. Yeah, society need to support those stuff for democracy, intelligence, wisdom. But in a way, the publisher, the companies are protected. But as a result, writers and also readers are not well treated in a way, I think. And I do self-publishing activities these days, right? So I am playing a role of author as well as publishers, right? So I realized that okay, so being a publisher is something. Being a writer is less interesting, because in a way, writer is working for the publishers, the companies, I think. And it's like researchers or grad students are working for their boss or the universities, that kind of thing, right? Yeah, so that was a plan. If I start my own business, that is one interesting direction I thought. That was episode 40. Episode 44, November. So around this time, yeah, I'm in a bad situation, and but I need to hang on. So I am saying something like a living is making or something like that. Yeah, okay, so over 70 applications for 5 months. That was the situation in November 3rd. Actually, for job search situation, things are changing in November actually. Around that time, until this point, I applied a lot of positions, but most of them are just rejected and I couldn't get a interview. And I suspect that that is partly because of my age factor. I am 55. Uh, I don't know the current common, the retirement age in many companies, but one typical age for retirement here in Japan is 65, right? So in that sense, I have only 10 years for the company. And yeah, so that's I understand the situation for the company. So this time, November 3rd was the release date of this episode 44. This is the darkest time of my job search process, I think. Then the episode 48 is on December 1st. And December 1st time, I'm still struggling. Yeah, as I mentioned there, in the mid of November, somehow I'm getting interviews like a 5, 6 kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know what changed. I think the seasonal reason, because my resume is completely the same. I didn't touch because I've already lost my job, so I have no entry for the new entries in my resume during the course of these months. So nothing changed, but somehow I got interviews. And yeah, this episode is released on December 1st. And after that, I am getting casual interviews, first interviews, second interview kind of thing. And finally, that was when? That was last week, actually. I signed the paper. So 2 weeks ago, I got offered one of those companies. And actually, I will start a new job at the beginning of January. The company is an AI company. So that is very close to my dream job I talk in May episode, I think, past, present, future episode. So I'm so happy with this one. And I don't know if I suggest a job seeker right now out there, if I say to them something, I would say hang in there because in my case, my goal setting was set in May and my paper resume was set in May. I spent many months, 6 months, nothing is going well. But seventh month, it started working and I got a job. So I don't know, this period of time is a common number or just, it's not an easy time, right? Many people would give up, some people. In my case, I am about to give up and try to be a freelancer or that in a different way of giving up, but yeah, anyway, so in that sense my 2023 is uh very tough but happy ending year. I think, yeah, so that's it. And after the deciding signing the job, I ordered a new computer. In some episode, I complained that my main computer is over 10 years old. Let's see. Yeah, I'm using a MacBook Pro. Sounds good, but that is in mid 2012. 2012, 11 years old, over 10 years. And it's Mac, but OS is Catalina. We can't upgrade from there. And furthermore, on this Mac, I can't run Docker. Yeah. So I ordered new MacBook Pro, the newest one. I'm so happy. That is, I don't know when it's coming. I just got email from Apple that is shipped in Shanghai. Still in Shanghai, I guess. I'm not sure when I got my new MacBook. I choose my MacBook. I choose latest one because my budget is not big enough, so I couldn't get the very very high end stuff. But I pick M3 Max. I don't know the detailed difference. I'm not sure. Should I pick the M3 Pro with many memories or M3 Max with less memory? But I picked the M3 Max model. Yeah, okay, M3 Pro. Its memory maximum is 36, so it's okay, I think. So I'm happy, 10 years, new machine, 10 years. Uh, Anything else I should talk this time? I don't know. So this completes my 2023 year, and I complete a perfect weeks, 52 weeks for this podcast episode. I'm so happy with this. So the next episode, the first episode of season 3, right? Season 3. That is released on 6th of January. And that's gonna be a music episode, right? Yeah, I'll stick with this cycle. This is my, living is making trick. Okay, so happy new year and thanks for listening for everybody. Peace and love.